yours. So it's I could give you the very quick feedback. It's very good actually. Her present, and the layout is very important. Follow that our grading system at least, you know, and there's no 0 points for particular portion, right? So you covered. Let me comment. Your presentation style is pretty good and not very nervous, and but you need to, you know, body language to see people, particularly in the other corner, those people sleeping.
Yes, it was. Yes, I saw they were yawning. I was like, I'm gonna.
You need to watch them, right? Don't sleep, don't play, okay? Particularly those two color, okay? So a lot of ways it's fun. To me, it's too crowd. You have to read it. Oh no. You have to presenter.
Okay.
Get key points, and you balance these two together, right? This point at least 24 minimum, right?
Oh, the font.
The
size of the letter.
Size of the letter, yeah. Balance these two, right? So make sure you get the points. People, you sell these points to people, right? People don't read your things. It's too crowd, okay?
Well, yeah. My idea was that here I just name the main ideas, the key points, and here I'm giving the explanation about what is working theory of motivation about, and then
I would recommend you balance this too. This is good. This is too crowd. Even you just read it, right? So how to massage these two together, balance each other. You can talk clearly, rather than you waste this portion actually. Because most people don't read it. If you point out, talk main points, you will utilize this portion. This is very important, of course. You put them together, okay? Yeah. That's my recommendation. But you could fit your style. And this is definitely too crowd, okay? That is the main point. And what else? I think it's very good. So rest of things I ask everybody to read it. So let's go to leadership question.
Sure.
Thank you. Seems to Elon Musk.
Yes. I know that the task you gave us, Sam, was to choose the profile from the book, but there wasn't too many profiles to choose from, so I decided to go my own path.
It's okay, good. It's also fine.
And yes, because
as long as it's interesting to you.
I was actually thinking even about presenting. It's strange about presenting Arnold Schwarzenegger, but then I thought, well, no, it's probably going to be too much, so I'll just go with Elon Musk. Okay, so where's my? I'm so.
This one.
Thank you. Okay. Oh, it's not working. What is wrong? Here it's open, but it's not.
Do you open it?
It's frozen.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. It's working.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, for those who.
I hope everybody know Elon Musk, right?
Yes,
yeah, almost.
My good friend.
Yeah.
You're probably going to buy the
Tesla. Here in Vancouver,
Tesla.
there are so many Tesla cars. I'm walking down the downtown. I'm like, oh, Tesla. Okay. Yeah. So.
By the way, he's also Canadian.
Yes. Well, he's originally from the South Africa,
Correct.
South African Republic. Then, when he was 17, as his mother was Canadian, he could easily apply for Canadian citizenship, and he went there and he applied in the university, and then he moved to the United States. So why I decided to talk about him again, for people who doesn't know him, he is the CEO and founder of Tesla company. Their mission is to create environmentally friendly and affordable cars. how I'm gonna change the slides. And he's also into space exploration. He is the CEO of the SpaceX, which is the company which deals with space exploration, and they're mainly focusing on commercial, how should I say? They are building up the rockets for commercial use, not only for research. So, yeah, if you by any chance have any money to go to space, then you can go to SpaceX, and they will show you how it's. They will give you an excursion to space. So why do I think that Elon Musk is a leader, is a nowadays leader? Well, first of all, he keeps proving us with his actions and his dedication that he has a special mission and he will complete it no matter what. And he's been through a school of hard knocks from the very beginning of his life. He was not a very outgoing child when he was young. He preferred reading books, and his speed of reading was fantastic. He could read 2 books in one day. And there was actually an interesting and nice story. His parents were even doubting if his hearing is okay, because he was so absorbed in reading that when they were calling his name, he never reacted. So they even had to go to the doctor to check if the child is not deaf. But he wasn't. And he was subject to bullying at school, and there were even physical violence. He was always beaten. His nose was broken. He even had to go through a plastic operation afterwards when he could afford it, because the nose bone was seriously damaged while he was a child, because his classmates just didn't like him. Yes. Yes, I think that leader is the one who keeps going and doing things which are required, no matter what, and he can go through different obstacles. Now let's have a look at the biography of Elon Musk. In 1995, he founded his first company together with his older brother, Kimball Musk. It was the name of it was Zip2 Corporation. It was an online city guide, and it provided content for the new websites of both the New York Times and the Chicago Tribune, and I think they did really well. In 1999, the computer company called Compaq. It actually has the full name. I cannot recall the full name, but for short, I just called it Compaq. It purchased Zip2 company for $341 million. There are some cash and stock as well, so I just sum up, and the total was $341 million. Then, in the same 1999, Elon founds X.com, which later was merged with another company and turned into a company we all know, which is PayPal. In mid-fall of 2002, eBay decided to purchase PayPal for $1.5 billion. And that was the time in 2002 Elon Musk becomes a billionaire. He was 30 at that time. Yeah, 30. At 30, he became a billionaire. After that, he decided to start up the SpaceX company, because he's been interested in space from early childhood. And he had a thought in mind to build up spacecrafts for commercial use. So on the 22nd of May in 2012, there was a launch of Falcon 9. The rocket was an unnamed capsule, and it made a history. Then in 2003, he founded the Tesla company, and just like I mentioned, the mission of the company was producing environmentally friendly yet affordable electric cars. Well, I'm doubting if it can be called affordable because the cheapest version starts from $35,000 and it goes with nothing. Just with the essential components, as far as you start adding something, it will increase the cost dramatically.
You also have a government subsidiary. If you purchase electronic cars, the government, for example, in Canada, if you buy Tesla Model 3, government probably pay you about $5,000, $6,000 because it's gasoline and your electronic car, no pollution.
That's right.
Most of the country have subsidized this car.
Yes.
It's cheap. $38,000 in US is cheap price. Yeah.
If the actual price is 35,000, then
Yeah.
the government will subsidize 5,000.
Yeah,
of that
5,000.
price,
Yeah.
and you can get it with 30,000. Yes.
About that, yeah. Depending on your configuration, you maybe add some more fancy features. You have to pay a little bit more.
Plus, I think when you buy a car, you basically pay tax, and then when you get the subsidized money from the government, you also need to pay tax. I guess I'm not sure, but I think that's how it works. So it's not exactly 5,000, maybe less, but still something better than nothing. But honestly, I don't know. I'm not familiar with these.
Yeah, I drove this car in Boston. The main selling point is environmental friendly.
Yes.
Okay, and
Yes.
no carbon emission, and also cheaper to drive because you charge it by battery. You probably save about in US you save about half fuel price. Yeah, because if you drive in a US highway, right, in California, the charge is free charge, right? You don't have to pay gasoline. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is significant for this. Yes.
So seems like Elon Musk in whatever project he was down to, he knew exactly what he was doing, and he knew, and he could see that selling point in every project that he was down to. And I read some reviews about him as an entrepreneur, and they say it's actually, of course, a very unique feature that he has, because he has that kind of business intuition when he knows which project will bring more money. Together with that, he is initially a scientist. He was majoring in physics when he was in the university, so he knows how things work. And while combining these features, he can. Yeah.
So two more companies he didn't mention. One is have you heard of Boring Company? Boring.
Boring?
Yeah, it's also his company.
Yes, there were some companies. Not there.
It's not boring. It's happened me this morning. You will have it. They dig up a tunnel in your city, like in Vancouver. If you weather like that, the tunnel is open. You just pay, some money. The tunnel will ship you to from one point to this point. They're called Boring Company. You should pay attention.
Yeah.
So that's particularly you are rushed to airport, right? You're probably willing to pay $100. The Boring Company carry your car to airport. Okay.
Yeah.
Another company is solar panel.
Yes, yes, there were.
It's actually his lease company. He just acquired it because he want to do a system, right? You're doing electricity car and also with a panel charge. So in the future, your gas station have a electricity charge station as well, right? That's powered by solar. That's why if you drive Tesla in California, it's free. Of course, it's free. It's from a solar panel.
Yeah.
Just add to
Yes,
that.
there were a couple of companies. I know that he is also into Starlink company. It was actually the company which the idea of which was initiated from the government, and they just want Musk to provide the whole world with the internet by putting the satellites on the orbit. So Starlink is about providing internet for the whole world, because surprisingly there's still a lot of countries in the world who don't have access to the internet.
So most of us struggling to find only one company. So he successfully created Zip2, PayPal. How many people use PayPal?
Well, I do.
Right, so I use PayPal, right? Then SpaceX, that rewrote the history of rocket launch, recycle. That's and also this Tesla.
Yeah,
and all these
and
big
he
things.
was also interested in bullet trains creation, like space loop. So yeah, he's and to finish with, to wrap up, I want to motivate everyone. So leaders' advice: work like hell. And that's his words. He said that work like hell. I mean, you just have to put in 80 to 100 hour weeks every week. This improves the odds of success. If other people are putting in 40-hour work weeks, you are putting in 100-hour work weeks, then even if you're doing the same thing, you know that you will achieve in 4 months what takes them a year to achieve. So he's actually a very hardworking person, and even I think he's a genius in a way, but he still has to work hard. And just another example that nothing is actually achieved easily. There is a ton of work under every project that we're creating. Yes.
So what's the leadership trait you can identify from this great leader, business leader?
Leadership trait. Well, so he has his vision, and well, I would say independence. Independence. He's just doing what he needs to do. He's not concerned about what other people think about him.
So that's probably he have a lot of good idea, right?
Yes, and
Innovative,
initiative,
right?
Initiative
That's
for sure.
very important for leaders, particularly for your entrepreneurial. You have good idea,
And
right?
And he's not afraid of taking risks. So
Risk taking, yeah.
Risk taking, and I think he's inspiring as well. And there are some critics about him as a manager, as a leader, because he literally makes his employees overwork themselves, and they say, well, it's not an important reason that your child was sick and you didn't show up to work. Here we're trying to change the world, so there is no excuse. So what he is doing, his businesses, this is his mission. He really thinks that through those projects he can change the world. So he is devoted, and he's devoted. This is another trait of his character, and he demands devotion from other people who want to work for him.
He also is cuter, yeah. Not only give idea or plan. He also, sometimes he sleep in the floor to execute the plan, right?
Yes.
That is very important for
Yes, he's
successful to get things shipped.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
So he will not go home till he finishes the plan, and I think, and he's also the executive project manager for Tesla. So he's the one creating his cars. It's not that he's hiring someone who's creating cars for him, and he's just giving presentations. He's the one who has the vision and turns it into reality.
Okay, I think you have a lot of time. So first presentation, you have that advantage. So Yeah, Elon Musk is a hero, so I think this affect your life. Um, and this leader you can learn. Maybe typically your career path. He returned back from South Africa actually in Ontario, and he went to Queen University, get his bachelor study, but he dropped out. Then he found opportunity in Silicon Valley, got a venture fund, and he studied everything from there. Grew up, his business, all this company from Silicon Valley, and one of the key attributes he's have innovative. Where does innovative come from? When he was a boy, he loved reading. He read a ton of the books, and so the reading is very important to get some idea, right? That's why we have this presentation. The idea got from all the top academic leaders' idea. You also need to read a newspaper, read some of the good these people what they're talking every day. Yeah. So he just opened up a plant in Shanghai, Mac plant. So this will be sell a lot to China region, because a lot of pollution in China, industrialized in the last 30 years. So this will be a lot of volume to sell to make the Tesla profitable. Yeah. So that's the reason you have such little profile. You always can watch him and see what's his story. Maybe inspire you. Oh, I know this guy. What's his background? And yeah. Also, of course, he's also controversial figures too. So a lot of critical,
Yes.
overworked, and overpromised, and covered too much area, too many area for one company. Even only one, that's a big thing for most of us. Yeah. So learn from this guy.
Yeah.
Canadian. Okay. So any further, feedback, question for her?
I have a question. Does he have a family and friends?
Yes, well, he does. He doesn't have a wife. He was dating a couple of girls. They were actresses. He was dating Amber Heard once upon a time. I'm not sure about how many. I think he has 5 kids. He has 5 children, but all the women he was with, they were complaining that he loves his work more than his family. But I think it's quite natural. I don't know why they were complaining, because I think he's that kind of a man who is completely devoted to work. What he did with his children, he actually set up the. So when it was time for the kids to go to school, he chosen the best school in Los Angeles, and it still wasn't good enough for Elon Musk. So he decided to found his own institute, with I think the Institute for Gifted Children or something like that. So I guess he is the one choosing the personnel, the teachers for that institute, and a lot of people want to get their children enrolled in the university, in the institution, because he simply doesn't like the way of education in normal schools. So they say he is good at multitasking, so he can work and play with his kids at the same time. And I think there are still some days when he is with his family, with his children, but yeah, I think he's more concentrated on work. But he has kids.
I think you have a question.
Yeah.
I want to know your own idea about this leader's advice. Do you think it's really important to increase the hours of working, or as a leader, or no? Creativity and a good idea is more important.
It's a good question, and I expected a question like this, because the matter is that I do agree with him. I will explain why. even though he is estimating the amount of working hours, it's still not something when you come to your business where you work for, clock in, work for 80 hours a week, and then just go back home and you feel like you're gonna be dead. It's still about ideas, creativity, but still hard work. So even if you're creative and even if you're working for yourself, Elon Musk thinks you still need to work more than 40 hours. And I think there are reasons for that, because if you really love what you're doing, you cannot simply stop at 8 hours. So like you counted 8 hours and then, okay, I'm done for today. He lives his ideas.
So let me add this. In general, this might be a leader weakness points. Okay, if you overworked as a CEO level and sleep in the floor, and and you should dedicate to your CEO level, right? Your right hand, left hand, let them to do some of the work for you, right? And this time, particularly for Elon Musk, we have multiple business, right? All so important to human being. Maybe in the next 10, 20 years, right? If everybody drive electronic cars, right? And the air is much cleaner, right? If everything used most of the solar power, would be nice. If the boring company is successful, I will be here on time. So everything will impact everybody's life, yeah? So, but he's genius, he probably only sleep 2-3 hours per day. If he's genius, why you blame him, right? So let's see, let's watch how he's successful, right? And I believe some points he has to delegate to other people to work for him rather than everything by himself.
I think he dedicates as much as he can, but just because look at how many businesses he runs at the moment. Yeah. Even providing the ideas, even controlling the process is gonna take obviously more than 80 hours. More than 40 hours. So I think he does dedicate as much as he can, but he is the main he is the brain center who creates all the ideas for his business. So.
Well, it's too early to say he's successful yet in terms of his standard, right? So let's watch. Yeah. Okay, I want you everybody to take your time to fill up this feedback, and this help for me. And feel free to make your own comments. Anything good side, bad side.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
For example, the leader that we should discuss, we should talk about their life, or just we have to talk about their leadership styles. I mean,
you could start with some interesting life style, but that's the feedback I give to her. She need to point out what the leadership trait.
The main point is
Yeah.
to talk about the type of leadership, the things that they do, and about the business.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think so. That is the portion of the identify key leadership trait, which is a more major value. But it make the leadership vivid. So after this course, you still watch them, right? That is also objective for this presentation. So I want you to take a few minutes to fill out, okay?
Can I sit here because, or I can go back to my seat.
I think you're done, right?
Yeah.
You why?
I mean, just because people are filling out, so maybe they will.